Aloha, welcome to the Bear Woznick Adventure. I'm your adventure guide, Bear Woznick, coming to you from Waikiki Beach, right on the sands of Waikiki. I'm looking out at the ocean right now. Our time of day, it's the sunrise. Beautiful time of day. We just had a beautiful tropical squall roll through. It makes everything fresh and clean. We're right next to St. Augustine's Catholic Church by the sea. Actually, our studio is just about directly above the altar. Our condo is right next door to the church, so coming to you as close as we can be to the Eucharist. We'll be right back with more of the Bear Woznick Adventure.
Welcome to the Bear Woznick Adventure. Kickstart that engine and roll thunder with the pack. Explore the grittiness of manly spirituality. Gain traction in the virtues. Zoop up your spiritual engine by turning adversity into adventure. Now here's Bear Woznick. Let's ride.
Aloha, welcome to the Bear Woznick Adventure. We have a really cool guest with us today. Ted Scarpino is his name. A lot of you know him, especially if you've been anywhere near Florida. He's a bigger-than-life man. You may know Ted Scarpino from a particular scene we shot down in Key West when we were riding with Archbishop Wensky. The Emmaus riders escorted us out of Miami. I think they're trying to get rid of us, actually, but they escorted us out of Miami, and then we rode with Archbishop Wensky all the way down to Key West. And on our way, we stopped and saw Ted Scarpino in his ohana. They were vacationing there, and we asked his sons to demonstrate some of their martial arts skills. And I will just put it this way: one of their crescent kicks or roundhouse kicks was a direct hit on their father. And if you're really curious to see where that direct hit was, you can watch the first season of Long Ride Home with Bear Woznick on Prime Video. So we welcome as our guest today, Ted Scarpino. Aloha, Ted.
Hey, how you doing, Bear?
Hey, who introduced us? Do you remember that guy that introduced us?
Some radio host over at Spirit FM named Jamie Durzopolsky.
Yeah, I always thought it was a rumor. I didn't really think that anybody could have that last name. But Jamie Durzopolsky, we call him James Durzy sometimes But I remember we walked into the very first men's conference I'd ever been to. I never even knew there was such a thing as a Catholic men's conference. I was living in Hawaii. It must have been well over 10 years ago. And I walked
think it was about 10, maybe a little over 10, yeah.
Yeah, and what's the name of that event again? What's it called?
Suncoast Catholic Ministries. It's a men's conference that we put on every year. This is our 15th year, I think.
Yeah, so it was. I remember Father Larry Richards was there, but I walked into the door with James. He introduced me to you, and I believe there was a priest there. And the priest said, good to see you, James. There's a lot of tables over there. You can look at what's all the different vendors that are here or contribute the authors and stuff. And he looked at me and goes, oh, there's confessions over here. So I didn't know exactly how to take that. But I'm gonna just jump in and say something really cool that happened with that priest, and I don't even know who it was. I'd been reading a book on the airplane on the way to Orlando, flying in from Hawaii. And in this book, written by a Christian pastor, a local Hawaiian pastor, it talked about how when he was young, he was raised in Japan, how there was a tradition where they would go up on top of this high hill, and they would have a bird that they would, I think there was a vendor probably that provided it for them, and they would kind of think about their dreams, what they really wanted in life, and then they would let that bird fly away. And it was like letting your dreams soar. And so he asked me a little bit. He said, I told him, I have a radio show. It's on a little 5-minute segment on Jamie's radio show, and I have a radio show on a Christian broadcasting station in Hawaii. And I told him about my thought to do a radio show that was on a network, on the Catholic network, and how I wanted to do some TV and radio and author. And I just written my first book. It had been published by Hachette. Now it's been republished by Sophia. But he said, he looked at me and he just said these words: "You got to let that dream fly. You got to let that bird fly." And it was like such an affirmation from the Holy Spirit that what you and I are doing right now was God's will that we would do. I do radio and TV and books. But then I remember meeting you, and the first thing we just started talking. It was like, to me, it was like great friends from the moment I met you, and I said, we got to do fun stuff together. I don't know if you remember that conversation.
And we have done some fun stuff together.
Yeah, like what? Name a few.
I think we've been on a cruise together. We've been over in Cocoa Beach. We've done surfing, all kinds of,
You guys came out here to Hawaii with your sons?
Yeah, we just got back from Hawaii. I actually sat in that desk right there and pretended like I was you.
Yeah, that must have been awesome. Is it kind of like when I sat in Mother Angelica's chair at EWTN? Was it kind of like that?
Maybe not that good, but it was good.
Yeah, but what struck me immediately about you, and when your sons were young then, Theo and Thomas, was just what a great love they had for you, and you had for your wife and for your sons, and what a great dad you are. You're just fully devoted to raising those kids. Can you before we talk about that, can you tell us a little bit about how Ted Scarpino came to be? I mean, how does a guy like you, how does a boy develop into being something like you?
Well, I guess that's my mom and dad's fault. They did a great job. My dad was in the Air Force. I was raised in a military family, and it was not, you didn't even ask every day when we went to church on Sundays. You didn't ask. You just got up, got dressed, my sisters and I. You went to church, so that's how we were raised. We were there to serve and do whatever we could to the church. I was an altar boy from an early age. I taught CCD. I went to CCD. I've taught vacation Bible school, and tried to instill that in all my kids. Just making sure that they know what's going on. And it's actually it's come to fruition with both my boys. Theo's in college, and he's at a Baptist-backed university, which is fine. It's great. He's got a swim scholarship and a regular scholarship. But one day his professor was talking about something, and he got so upset, he called us, and he went and talked to his professor, and now they've worked something out where they can discuss Catholicism versus what the Baptists believe. And he made sure that now he goes to church every Sunday because he wants to live his faith, not because we're forcing him to go to church on Sunday. It's like his comment was, "Don't force me to go. I want to go because I want to go, and I'm going to go because I want to learn more about it right now and do that." And then you flip the switch with Thomas. Thomas in his religion class, he sleeps through half of it because he was raised what we call sleeping in the spirit from one of the priests around here. He used to sleep on his stole. And Thomas is answering the question. He's got a straight A in a religion class. He'll get up and answer the questions, go back to sleep. It's kind of crazy. So
they are two very different cats.
I love it. That they've got what they need to get from just us living our lives, not just being okay, we're going to tell you about it. We're going to live our lives fully to the faith that we believe and just, exude it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And I know they're two different cats, and it kind of shows you how the Lord needs to develop. Each of us have our own unique journey with the Lord. They couldn't be more different, and you have to raise each of them up in the Lord. But there's a verse that says, when they are young, teach your children the way that they should go, and in the end they won't depart from it. Well, that just doesn't mean that they teach them how they should be a Christian. I guess the root word of that is the way it should go, like a tree grows in a certain direction or a certain way. Each of them has their own path and their own unique way of receiving the gospel and understanding the Catholic faith, and yet they're both really strong in the Lord. But I want to go ahead.
If you look at the palm tree over my shoulder here, I tell everybody, and my thing has always been, my job is to build the root ball of the palm tree, because the palm tree is going to get swayed in the wind and the storms and everything else. It's going to lose leaves. It's going to look like it's dying. But in the end, that palm tree will come back and grow big and strong because of the foundation and the root ball that we built. That's my goal, is to build a big, giant root ball for my boys. I see.
Yeah, palm trees are very unique. One of my best friends here, we call him Big Wave. He calls himself Big Wave Todd, but we all call him Crazy Todd because maybe you met him, I don't know, or you know him. He's the one that
we were there.
He towed my son into 85-foot surf on the North Shore, Jeremiah. He's a bit crazy, and the other day we were at coffee at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Cindy and I just kind of meandered that direction instead of our normal course, and there's Crazy Todd trimming palm trees. So he's actually, I don't know what the official word for it is. I don't think it's horticulturist, but he knows all the Latin words for those trees, and he climbs those palm trees, and he taught me about how a palm tree. I'm sure you know this. what makes it unique and why it can bend like it does is that the sap rises in tubes. It has tubes coming upwards instead of like a center sap core. It has all these tubular things that go up, so it can bend way out and it can find the sun and reach for the sky. But a big wind will come and other trees will fall down. A palm tree won't. And like you said, it'll dry out the leaves, but its roots are deep enough so it can still get the water. And that's the way you're raising your sons. Each of those trees knows their way to the light, but you've given them deep roots. We're talking to my good friend Ted Scarpino. We'll be right back with more of the Bear Woznick adventure. SchoolofManliness.com is a place for men of grit and grace to join together, to inspire, to encourage, and to challenge each other to grow in manly virtue. Members receive morning man meditations, a monthly curriculum that is rich with audio, video, and written content, and a trail guide to help you map out your new trajectory. Many of our members lead their sons through this same curriculum. Your membership gives you access to both the Man Cave, which is our non-Facebook type community, and the School of Manliness at schoolofmanliness.com. Become a member at schoolofmanliness.com. Deep Adventure Ministries is grateful to Notre Dame Federal Credit Union for underwriting the Bear Woznick adventure on EWTN. Notre Dame Federal Credit Union provides car loans, mortgages, SBA loans, and depository accounts nationwide, as well as 24-hour support. Go to deepadventure.com to find their link, or go to NotreDameFCU.com. Mahalo to Notre Dame Federal Credit Union for making the Bear Woznick adventure possible. That they were born with, that each man individually is factory loaded with by God. Paul said, be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, do all things in love. Finally, here is a book that talks with men the way men talk with each other. Just plain old straight shoot. By the way, Mama Bears, this is your chance to get this message to your men. Go to schoolofmanliness.com or anywhere books are sold. 12 Rules for Manliness. Where have all the cowboys gone? Here is a YouTube video short, which is based on an excerpt from my newest book, 12 Rules for Manliness. Where have all the cowboys gone? Good men endure. Where have all the cowboys gone? Good men define themselves by the hardships they endure in facing the challenges that they overcome in pursuit of their creed and in pursuit of their mission. God stands by a man like this. The Bible says the eyes of the Lord look to and fro throughout the earth for the man whose heart is totally yielded to him, that he might strongly support him.
This is a warning. The Bear Woznick adventure is dangerous. The radical change Bear challenges you to is not for wimps. Change this station now to a soft rock station before it's too late. You've been warned. Now, here is Bear Woznick.
Aloha and welcome back to the Bear Woznick adventure. I've got my good friend Ted Scarpino here with us. I think a lot of you probably have bumped into him somewhere or the other because he's very active in his Catholic faith, very active in the Orlando area. He and his wife have a veterinary school, not a school, I mean a hospital, and so Ted does a lot of landscaping and other things along with helping his wife with the veterinary hospital. But you've probably, if you've lived in the Tampa Bay area, you've bumped into Ted Scarpino. So Ted, tell us a little bit about the Man Cave and the Man Cave meetups and why you think that's important for men to be involved in small groups with other men. Talk about our Man Cave. Maybe people don't know that much about it.
Well, I haven't been as active as I should be in that, which is on me because I'm just so busy. But you need to have guys that believe the same thing, that have the same mindset, believe that, the Lord is the most important thing in your life, and you can actually speak clearly and talk with them and not worry about what somebody else is going to say.
Mm.
If you find a group like that, which this group is, you're free to say whatever you want to do. You're there to talk about your love for the Lord, how you've probably fallen away, how you've come back, how you've built it stronger, what you've done with your family, what you haven't done with your family. You can open up about my faults, my things that I haven't been able to do, and you can also give testimony to the things that I have done. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the key things about the man cave. That's great because you know, when I do get with you guys, yeah, it's like we've never missed a beat.
Hmm. But you
It's
come out.
just
You come out to the annual meetup every year out in
yep. And I
down
try
by.
to bring the boys with me so they can
Yeah.
get something out of it.
I think what it comes down to is, when I was a younger man, I felt I had to keep up my appearances. That I didn't want to make anybody think I had ever been short on money or wasn't all that I needed to be. But when you get with these other men, you realize we're all bozos on the same bus. We've all got the same challenges, and the
Or in our
same.
case, on the same beach.
Yeah, the bozos on the same beach, exactly. Yeah, so you come out. We have a meetup in May of every year. Usually it's in May, in Indy Atlantic, down by Melbourne Beach, Florida, and we all stay in the same hotel, and we sit. Actually, explain what those weekends are like.
So when we do get there, we get there in the morning. Or depending on when you can show up, hang out, and I guess your word is ohana. It's a family thing where all of us just get around. There's no wives to tell us what we can and say and this and that. It's guys being guys talking about just how our love for the Lord, where we're at, what we're doing, and again, our downfalls, our up, how we become better at what we're doing, what we need to work on. You sit around and in the morning, have breakfast, talk, pray, go down to the beach, walk around, do some quiet time, do some journaling, and just get in touch with yourself, with the Lord, and making sure you're still on the right path.
Well, I
So,
think you forgot about the cigars and whiskey for those who drink
well,
in the
that's in the.
evenings.
I was more talking about the morning. The afternoon is more. The afternoon and evening is more the whiskey stuff. We sit on the beach, smoke cigars. We do have to go down a ways so because people don't get upset with the cigar smoke, but good whiskey, good friends, and good cigars on the beach, and sit there, watch the sunset. Well, actually, it sets behind us, but yeah, it's good. It's fun.
Yeah, we're down there for the sunrise every morning for early morning
Yeah,
liturgy of the hour, and then we walk across the causeway there, and we go to mass there at Holy Name of Jesus Catholic Church. So
which is really fun.
it's a great week, but it's part of that. It's part of what it is to be a real brother is that you can, we're going to have Father Bryce Lundgren on our show next, and Father Bryce, I'm about to interview him. He's a Catholic cowboy priest from Wyoming. And in his book, The Catholic Cowboy Way, he talks about, people say, well, you need to be vulnerable with each other, you need to be accountable. And I don't like either of those words too much myself. And Father Bryce talks about if he was riding on the Wyoming range with his buddy Zeke, and he said, hey, Zeke, you know what we really need to do? We need to get more vulnerable with each other. He would kick those spurs and be gone over the next ridge before he could even blink. But what we say is we get gritty and we get real.
There you go.
And I don't need to be accountable to anybody. I need to be accountable to myself and to the Lord. But my brothers help me in that arena to because they themselves, everyone there has had a struggle. But I want to say this: one of the coolest things about you, Ted, I think I have a lot of great people on my show who tell me about. I was raised like this, and then I fell away, and I had all these problems, and at the end of my rope, and then I gave my life to Jesus. Well, the testimonies I really, really, and those are important, but the ones I really like is when I see men like you, and the greatest testimony is when you don't ever do that. Like for myself, as I grew up, I'm not bragging or anything, but for me, as when I was 19 years old, I gave my life, fully committed my life to the Lord. In fact, I didn't have a drink until I gave my life to the Lord. And then I had the freedom, but still, I think I've only been drunk twice in my life, and that was for a real good reason. I chose to do it, but but what I'm saying is that the greatest, one of the greatest testimonies is when a youth serves the Lord from his youth onward, instead of having to go through that big pit that people often go through, and that's your goal with your sons.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm one of those people that went through that pit for a while, but I keep telling my boys it's easier not to go into the pit than it is to come out of the pit. You can get out, but it takes a while, and it's a hard crawl, hard struggle, hard climb to get out. So try not to fall into it. And, life gets in the way with them. I mean, obviously, I'm super proud of Theo right now for wanting to go to church. And, we know what he's doing and going, and he is going. And it's awesome that he goes on his own. He's 1,000 miles away from us in a different state. And on Sunday, he goes to church.
Yeah, we have a picture of him that you sent us, his graduation picture. We have a picture of you, too. Could you send us a new picture of you? Because the darts are kind of, too many dart holes in it.
You want me to just get you a new dartboard with my picture on it?
No, but we love, but I think I would like for you to talk to us about when they were young, and tell us about how you're don't just skip over things. Tell us about from their youth. How did you bring them up in the Lord?
Well, obviously, we brought them to Mass with us. We explained what was going on. We would answer questions at home if they, tell them what's going on, talk to them about the gospel. And I think when we got to CCD classes, because they were homeschooled for the longest time. So that was the kind of thing. We did a homeschool where my wife is a blessing about this, because it was a Catholic homeschool group. So all this readings and this structure, there was nothing but Catholic. You're raised in a Catholic faith. They got out of it, went to a regular school, and the school's like, they went to a Catholic school, and they're like, oh, they don't need to go to CCD. But we were bringing them anyways because I was teaching, and they had to hear stuff.
No, wait a minute. What do you mean you were teaching?
Yeah, I was teaching CCD. I've taught CCD. I've taught RCIA. I've been a vocations director for a couple different things, helping out. So.
Okay, so wait a minute. This to me is the coolest thing. So we need to challenge all the men listening today who feel underqualified and not necessarily virtuous enough, not a saint, that we need you to teach RCIA and need you to teach CCD. And what's the best thing about teaching CCD is you learn your faith.
Yeah,
right?
You learn your faith. You get challenged by your faith because kids ask the silliest questions, and you can't just give them a fake answer. They know how to read through you. So you have to know your faith. You have to know the answer. And if you don't know it, you just say, you know what? Let's look this up and let's figure this out together. And then, and that was one of the biggest challenges that I had. I got away from teaching it by the book. I would teach the kids in the class. I would go through our plan and know what I had to teach, and the end goal was. But I would teach them on the daily gospel. What did you get out of it? What did you receive? How did you feel? What was the key things that you picked out on this? And how can we expound on those? So,
now how old were those your students?
I was teaching 7th and 8th graders.
To me, 7th and 8th grade is the most difficult, because I used to do youth. I used to do similar things. But 7th and 8th graders, they're at that bridge over point from childhood to kind of becoming. And they're every week they come in, they're a different person. Well, I'm going to be a goth. Well, I'm going to be that. They kind of keep trying on different things. Yep. But the consistency of the faith that you're able to communicate it has to be real.
You can't play games with them because they know when they're playing games.
Yeah,
they're smarter than you think.
We're talking to Ted Scarpino, my brother. We've been good friends for I think it's been over 10 years. I don't know. But we had met 10 years ago when we were at the Suncoast Catholic Men's Conference in Tampa.
Suncoast Catholic Ministries Men's Conference, right?
Yeah, in Tampa. And I just remember this before we take this quick break. I remember Father Larry Richards was there. I actually got to teach at his event in Lake Erie, in Erie, Pennsylvania, while he was out ministry, and I got to teach at his men's conference. But my first first talk I ever heard was Father Larry Richards giving his talk on getting ready for confession.
Yep.
And some of the women had kind of snuck in the back to listen to Father Larry Richards, and then they snuck out because like ears were burning. You know, he was getting right to the facts. You know, of what we need to ponder and to repent of. We're talking to my good friend Ted Scarpino, husband to the famous Jamie Scarpino, veterinarian in the Tampa Bay area, St. Petersburg area, I guess it is.
Yep.
And when we get back, we're going to ask you a little bit about the recent hurricane. We're talking to Ted Scarpino. This is the Bear Woznick Adventure. Here is a YouTube video short, which is based on an excerpt from my newest book, 12 Rules for Manliness, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone? Grapple with God. Like Jacob wrestling with God in the desert. Have the boldness and the courage to clinch with God, even to grapple with God. All God wants is for us to get real with Him, to get gritty and lay it all out on the line. God wants us to wrestle with Him, for it is with Him with whom we have to do. And even to say no to Him, to resist Him, but never letting go of Him until finally, in all the muck and the mud of our stubborn lives, His relentless love breaks through and fills our souls with new and right desires. And all we can say to Him is, yes, Father, your will be done. Let me will the true good through self-donation. Go to schoolofmanliness.com and subscribe to our weekly email to receive video YouTube links of the Bear Woznick radio show, as well as the Spirit of Adventure with Bear and Cindy TV show, which, by the way, is filmed in the tropics, as well as our manly evangelistic YouTube shorts. Go to schoolofmanliness.com.
Be the kind of man that when he gets out of bed in the morning, the devil says, oh no, he's up. Go to deepadventure.com and invite Bear to speak.
Aloha, welcome to the Bear Woznick Adventure. I'm your adventure guide, Bear Woznick. Our co-host today, our co-adventure guide is Ted Scarpino. I want to invite you to go to schoolofmanliness.com. It used to be called Bear School of Manliness, but we were finally able to acquire that shorter version, schoolofmanliness.com, and become a member of the Man Cave. We have once a month we have a Zoom video meetup, and we join together usually in the evenings with a manly beverage. For a lot of the guys, that's just really scalding hot coffee. Maybe have a cigar, and we go through the curriculum that we have in the School of Manliness. We have about 2.5 years of curriculum where we have audio, like we have Father Bryce Lundgren's Wyoming Catholic Cowboy homilies. We have things from a friend of mine that you've probably seen on our TV show Long Ride Home, Daniel Boom Markham, and video from me, and we have written content and self-assessments. So each month there's a special category, and we have the men go through that. We go through it on our own, but once a month we gather to talk about it. But the cool thing is, dads, is you and moms, get your husbands involved in this. The husband becomes a member of the Man Cave in the School of Manliness, and then he can get his sons their own unique credentials that don't allow them to go into the Man Cave, but they can go into the School of Manliness. And he can lead them through, once a week, get together with his sons and lead them through that month's curriculum and have really deep conversations with their sons. That's what we're most excited about. So go to schoolofmanliness.com, men, and become a member of the Man Cave. We're joined today with Ted Scarpino. I think the most famous thing about you, Ted, and probably the most famous thing about me, is that we're friends with a guy whose last name is impossible to pronounce.
And you and I are probably the only two people that can pronounce it properly.
Jamie Derzopolsky.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've shortened it to just Jamie D because I don't want to say it anymore.
I love that guy. Love that guy. Hey,
he is back on the radio now too, by the way.
Oh, really? Spirit FM?
He's back on the radio.
When is he? He's on the drive.
They gave him the
show?
overnight shift because they really didn't want to deal with him too much.
Oh, I can understand that. I love Jamie. Hey, Jamie, this is a shout out to Jamie Derzopolsky. We love you. We love Spirit FM. It's interesting. It's not like an EWTN radio station. It's unique. It's been around for a while. But it plays it plays Christian rock or Christian music, and has a great other content, but it's kind of a standalone type of experiment because it goes way, way, way back.
Yep.
But we want to hear about what happened. You went through 2 hurricanes recently.
Yeah, we did. One of them was called Helene, and it flooded most of this area. Friends of mine got 4 feet of the water in their house.
And what area are you in again?
We are in the St. Petersburg area, and this is we're right outside of what they call Shore Acres. It's pretty popular on the news. If you've seen anything of the devastation in this area, we're just on the bay side of Tampa Bay. You've got the Gulf side, which this last storm did a lot of damage. They got all devastated with their side. The Gulf side or the bay side got beat up pretty bad because the tidal surge was anywhere from 7 to 8 feet high, and most everybody got 4 to 5 feet of water in their houses. I was very, very blessed that I only got enough water in my house to pull out some carpet. I had four bedrooms that had carpet in them, and I had to take care of that. Other than that, I really don't have a lot of issues with it. I lost a couple little refrigerators that were out there.
What about the animals at the hospital? Your animal hospital.
That was a challenge. We had I think we had over 50 animals there that we were boarding. So it was just my wife, myself, and Thomas, and we did the best we could. We hunkered down, waited for the storm to get done. We would check on the pets, make sure that they were all right, take them out. A couple of our staff members came in to help us out. We lost power for a couple of days. We were out, and then thank God, I guess my brilliance, as my wife calls it, that I went out and got 50 gallons of gasoline, and I hoarded it all in our garage. And when it was time to go, I was running 3 generators to make sure my clinic was up and running. But we were able to, do some things. We had power here, and we were able to cook and clean.
I mean, you couldn't evacuate. You had to take care of those animals.
Yeah, I couldn't leave. Our house, we just prayed that our house was okay. We went to our clinic, which is going to be a high and dry place for us, and just hunkered down and stayed there. And when it was time to go out, we went out. We did have a couple leaks in the roof because of the second storm. So 2 hurricanes back to back. We packed up everything and put it in the trailer and shipped it to Orlando. And we did what we had to do to survive. We're fine. God is good. He's helped us through this. We did a lot of praying at that time. There were a lot of rosaries said, a lot of just keep us safe, keep my family safe. I know Jamie didn't sleep a whole lot because she was worried about it. She was doing a lot of praying. But when we could sleep, we did. We had about 120-mile-an-hour winds hitting our hospital at the second storm, which the second storm, Milton, we thought we were going to get more water than we did. And thank God, and I pray for the people that are south of us. The storm moved south and we got more wind, but not the tide. And those other people got the tide. And it was a direct hit in the area of Manatee County. So, God is good. We saved our place. We saved the pets. Nothing happened that we can't fix. We're back in our home. So that's a blessing.
I remember I always kept my home here in Hawaii, but while I was filming Long Ride Home, I had a place in Cocoa Beach area. And I forget the name of the hurricane, but I'll never forget the hurricane. We're about to just about to start filming Long Ride Home. We're about to go on our first ride. And I'm actually talking to the executives at EWTN. We're having a meeting about how we're going to do things. And I said, we really need to get going because there's a hurricane coming, and we need to get going. They go, oh, you need to batten down the hatches. I go, oh no, we need to go out and ride in it. Because that's good television, trust me. So the very first seconds of Long Ride Home, you see us riding really like through a waterfall of rain. My sons are filming out of the back of our SUV, and you see Tony and I riding coming up from the south, and we got there. We put our SUV up into a higher place, and we rode out the storm because we had all of our equipment for for what we were about to film. there with us, and luckily I think we were up on the third floor, so we weren't going to get hit by rain, but we were worried about the wind, and we didn't have the really great hurricane shutters that we did have some, but not like the best that we could have, because that was a new house for us. But I just remember the eye of the hurricane moved about 5 miles. It was just 3 or 4 miles next to our house as it went by, and feeling these 130, 140 mile hour winds come from one direction, and then like a half hour, 45 minutes later, they're coming from another direction. It's a pretty gnarly thing to go through a hurricane.
And then when you wake up and you assess the damage and everything else, and we thank God that we didn't have that much damage, but you drive around our neighborhood right now and people's homes, that was the hardest part for me, is being the handyman guy that I am, and friends of mine, helping them out, taking all their personal stuff that they've collected over the years, sentimental stuff, throwing it out. A quick story about that. One of my coaches at the swim team, his house was flooded, 4.5 feet of water in it, and his Steinway piano was underwater. And the only thing we could save after the salt water, after he had it done, was the folding down piece that covers the keys. When you lift it up, it says Steinway. So Steinway, I actually went and cut that out and saved that. That's the only piece of his piano he has left. We had to cut the piano in half to get it out of the house.
Well, I want to say something, about that. I went through a really gnarly earthquake in California, really pretty unbelievably, one of the biggest ones. I remember the house, glass breaking, the mirrors coming off the walls. My kids had moved to they were sleeping, for some reason they wanted to camp out next to the fireplace, and I didn't even know it. They were just kind of camped out down there, and that fireplace we lost. They got up and moved just in time for the rocks not to fall on them, but it was pretty gnarly. But the one thing I did notice, and I know this is what you're saying, we'll talk more when we get back about it, your whole community came together, I'm sure, just like we did in California, or like I did, people you don't even know who lived across the street for years are helping you. You're helping each other.
Yep.
So we need to have that sense of, you realize, wow, we really need to have a deeper sense of community, and we do that in when a crisis comes, but we need to be doing that with each other all the time. We're talking with Ted Scarpino, who's what do you call what you do, because you do everything besides that. You guys have the veterinary clinic.
I had a friend of mine change my company to Scarpino Project Management, because he knows that I'm really good at managing a bunch of different jobs.
Yeah.
So I'm very good at managing people, and I can make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Oh, that's true. That's true about you.
Right now, I'm in a crisis with one of our guys just did some work at the house, and he did it all wrong. So as soon as I get done with you, I'm going to run over and try to see how we can fix it.
Yeah, that's you. I know when we're doing the Man Cave meetup in Cocoa Beach, you just kind of all of a sudden the tents are up and things are taken care of. We're talking with Ted Scarpino, my good friend. We'll be right back with more of the Bear Woznick adventure. People love our EWTN TV show, Long Ride Home with Bear Woznick. Thanks to you, the show has won 4 different Tally Awards. And now, instead of waiting each week for the next episode to air, you can actually binge watch our show and even share it with your friends when you go to deepadventure.com and join the Mama Bears or the Man Cave. Along with all the other benefits, you get total access to all the seasons of our aired episodes, plus instant access to episodes that won't even air for several months. Long Ride Home with Bear Woznick, a great way to communicate the gospel in a gritty enough way that even tough men will stop and watch at deepadventure.com. Here is a YouTube video short, which is based on an excerpt from my newest book, 12 Rules for Manliness, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone? How a man treats a woman defines him. You see, a man is made of mud. He's just physically more powerful and stronger, and in other ways too. Though a woman may be strong in many ways, a man, if he chooses to, usually dominate her. That's why I say how a man treats a woman defines him. He may show respect to a bigger, stronger man or to his boss, but how does he treat the woman in his life? In fact, even though he may not have even met his woman, his bride to be yet, Is he still faithful and devoted to her in all of his actions? How does he treat his mom, his sisters, his co-workers, his classmates, his restaurant server, the girl that he's on a date with? This defines him as a man. How you think of, speak of, and treat a woman is the litmus test that proves the durable love you have as a good man. Deep Adventure Ministries is grateful to Notre Dame Federal Credit Union for underwriting the Bear Woznick adventure on EWTN. Notre Dame Federal Credit Union provides car loans, mortgages, SBA loans, and depository accounts nationwide, as well as 24-hour support. Go to deepadventure.com to find their link, or go to NotreDameFCU.com. Mahalo to Notre Dame Federal Credit Union for making the Bear Woznick adventure possible. Announcing Spirit Adventure TV with Bear and Cindy. So many people, especially you mama bears, tell us we want more of Bear and Cindy together. Well, we're happy to announce our website, spiritofadventuretv.com, as well as our YouTube channel, Bear Woznick Spirit of Adventure, where you can watch Spirit of Adventure TV with Bear and Cindy. Join us where we live in the Hawaiian Islands or where we sail our boat, the Spirit of Adventure, in the Caribbean. Experience both adventure and serenity with us as we share our life together, as well as the joy and the wisdom of our faith. Go to spiritofadventuretv.com to find out more and subscribe on YouTube to Bear Woznick Spirit of Adventure. And join us, Spirit of Adventure with Bear and Cindy.
Are you still listening? I thought we warned you to change to an easy listening station. Well, you asked for it. Here is more of the Bear Woznick adventure.
Aloha and welcome to the Bear Woznick Adventure. I just want to encourage you to go to wherever you like to buy your books. It's available in the Barnes & Noble stores, on Amazon, at the EWTN catalog, at our website, School of Manliness. My newest book, 12 Rules for Manliness, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone? It's been ranked in the top 10 many times on Amazon, and it's having a real impact on men. I know a lot of men that don't necessarily like to read. They'll read this book they'll actually start on a Friday, have it done by Monday, and then start reading it again. 12 Rules for Manliness, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone? It talks to men like men talk to men. You know, it's not pseudo-spiritual. It's not overly soft. It's just very direct, to the point. But uses the kind of words and the terminology that we all use when we're having a cigar. But it gets real, it gets gritty, and pray for me. I'm working on a new book, Man Meditations for Men of Grit and Grace. So pray for me. I've got 189 of those meditations written, hoping that'll have the same type of impact. Did you ever read my book, Ted, or you just pretend like you did? You didn't read it, did you?
I'm one of those guys that I read a little bit of it, put it down, and get busy and do some stuff. I actually need to pull it back out because it's in the trailer out in the front of my house because we packed up everything, and I didn't want that that was one of the things I did not want to get rid of the storm.
But what you just said is important. I mean, that's why I'm writing the book, Man Meditations, because it's in the morning, every morning. You open it up with your Bible, and you do that one page of reading. Right, because men are busy. We got stuff to do. It's hard to carve out time to read. So that's why I've moved to this exact reason. Because you would hang on, you would read that for a minute a day, but you can't always sit down and sit and read a chapter. You've got a busy life.
If you know who I am and you know me, you know that I don't sit still very long at all. I mean, you've got to be understanding. I'm sitting still for right now for this. This is not me. I normally don't sit still. My wife is looking at me like, where are you going right after this? And that's where I'm going to
say hi to Jamie. Say hi to Jamie for us. We love her. I mean, we love her just because she puts up with you. You know, my wife says she loves me, but I think she really just means she puts up with me. I have ADHD
I think her term of love might be tolerate.
Yeah, that's it. But, you know, I have ADHD just like you do, and that's why we get so much done.
I know.
You know, I've always got, I'm writing books, doing TV show, radio show, have my CP firm. And,
I
I
did
think I
figure out where
exhaust
you
my
get
wife.
the term. I figured out where you get the term gritty. You've always been on the beach or in the
Yeah.
desert, so that's in your shorts, I
Well,
should
there's
say,
always,
because you're
well,
always gritty.
though that's kind of sad. I got a song I made up on the ukulele called "Sand in the Crotch Blues." I shouldn't bring it up here, but no, there's always a lot of sand at the beach for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't
there
know
is.
why
I
that
don't know
is.
what it is. It's something. And you know what's really funny is I really don't like the sand.
You know what? Go ahead.
I said I'm a scuba diver. I would love to. I just go hang out in the scuba diving. I tried to surf, but somebody wouldn't teach me properly when I
I
was
will
in.
teach you. Well, that was we didn't we do that? Oh no, the waves were so big.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that because your sons, who are incredible swimmers, I didn't realize what a waterman you were though, because you swam out there with your fins and a GoPro camera. Very few people could have even held their position in the water. It was big swells. They were breaking on the outside and then reforming and breaking further in. And you went out with your sons, and you guys I've never seen two guys do what they did in those kind of conditions. And then I'm worried about Ted. Oh, poor Ted, he's probably drowning out here. And you're just swimming up against the current, and you're taking pictures of your position. You're moving really fast through the water.
Yeah, I got pictures of you and your wife doing your surf, and my boys.
Tandem. I had her in a lift, right?
Yes, sir. I got that picture. I'll have to send it to you along with a cup. I did figure out, I'm going to send you a new picture. It's actually me on a horse, so you can understand that I have
You're a horseman.
variety of talents.
Yeah, I know that. I love horses, and my wife was a cowgirl. I'm sure you know that. But
Yeah.
but the thing about that is that your commitment to your sons. I would ask you, where? Hey Ted, what are you doing? I'm taking my sons to baseball. Are you dropping them off? No, I'm coaching their baseball. And that's the difference. A father who is a drop off your kid and maybe every now and then make it to a baseball game, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, it's gone from baseball to swimming. Baseball was fun. The boys had great stuff. They were doing good. There were some issues with some of the coaches that we were working with. And so they'd always swam. We went to swim team. And in high school, Theo got into high school swimming, and it became really his core of what he wanted to do. He's gone to state tournaments, and now he's actually in a college where he's getting a scholarship for swimming, and he's finding out college is a little bit harder. Fast forward to Thomas, and I was always an official for USA Swimming so I could stand on the deck, make sure that the boys were doing what they needed to do, take them to practice, be at all the swim meets. And I've timed over the years. Well, now I'm the assistant coach for the St. Pete Catholic High School team.
How cool.
In fact, tomorrow, we leave tomorrow morning to go to Ocala for the state swim meet, and we have our team going to go there and compete.
Okay. So I want to talk about this for a second. So I know that men, we like to work. That's when we feel best, is when we're working. And we got it when we need to learn to focus on. We sometimes focused on what's ever urgent. And we forget what's important. What's important, men, is for you to spend time with your sons, especially when they come of that certain age. Not just dropping them off, not just going to the game, but get involved in coaching them, teaching them the life skills that you know, the physical, practical skills that you know. If a dad loves to work on cars, his sons will too. But you need to have that involvement with it. If you don't, and that's the most important thing you can do. But it doesn't seem important because it's not a squeaky wheel. It's not anything urgent to tell you to leave from your work 10 minutes early so you can get to go and help coach. But I'll guarantee you, if you don't take care of these important things, they will become extremely urgent. When your sons go the wrong direction and things go all bad because you didn't take care of it when it was important from their childhood onward, but especially as those boys, when the boys are young, their mother coddles them and gives them a sense of self-esteem, which is very different than self-confidence. Self-confidence comes from hanging around your dad, and your dad, pushing you and shoving you, and you can do better than that, and getting you out fishing or hunting or getting you up early to go do something. When you guys came here to Hawaii, you got your sons. I said, where can they swim? I go, well, there's an ocean right there. Well, they need to practice in water that isn't salt water. They need to in water that doesn't float them. And you were researching where you could find an Olympic type pool for them to practice in. So your commitment to them, even though there's going to be seasons when they go different directions, is at the very core of their being. They know they're loved, and they have self-confidence, which can only come from failing and rising to the occasion and overcoming obstacles. What is your word to the fathers out there? We got just a couple more minutes of encouragement and of challenge.
Look inside, pray, ask. Spirit FM was talking about prayer, and my prayer is, it's real simple. I wake up and I say, thank you, help me. I'm thanking God for all the stuff that he's given me. He knows what he's given me. I don't have to go through a list. And then help me be better at loving him, at loving my wife, my family, taking care of everything, getting through the day. It's a simple prayer. And right now we're getting up at 5. We leave the house at 5 a.m. to go to swim practice. And my day doesn't end until, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. So I'm busy all day long, running.
It's not busy. You're productive all day long. Yeah.
But I make a point to tell people in my business that at this time, I'm going to leave your job because my kids are more important than your job. And I go pick my son up from school and I do what we need to do, whether it's practice, it's other stuff, whatever he needs to do. That's more important to me than my job. In other words, he's more important to you, and he knows it. Yeah, my boys.
Your sons know.
He's more important. My sons, my wife are more important to me than any amount of money that I can make.
And if you do
I need the money to survive, but they're more important to me than any of that stuff.
Well, yeah, but God is our provider.
Yes.
Ultimately, he's our provider. I remember when I first started having children, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, and people say, "Isn't that real expensive? Don't you know it costs you $250,000 for each kid you have, or something like that?" I don't know what the number was then.
It's probably a lot more now.
I never even thought about that. I never gave it a second thought. I just thought, the Lord, if you want me to have a child, I'm open to. I want to have children, and you will be the provider. I'm going to do the work. You open the door. You put the tools in my hand, and I'll work. We're talking with Ted Scarpino. We're done. We're pau already, as we say in Hawaii. We're pau hana. We're finished work. It's also the same word. Pau hana is the same word for happy hour too, by the way. But we're talking with my good friend Ted Scarpino. I just want to say this: if you're watching this on YouTube. It's going live it goes out over EWTN and all the podcasts. But if you're watching on YouTube, Ted has chosen to put as his background an area of kind of like cliffs and palm trees that I know do not exist anywhere in Florida, because the only mountain I ever saw there was where they pile up the garbage. It's a garbage hill. So right. I know that is probably maybe the Virgin Islands or something.
I thought it was your backyard.
Yeah, that's my front yard. It's my front.
Your front yard. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember the front
actually,
yard.
In Hawaii, when you live on an island, it's your backyard too, because the ocean's both every which direction. Right. Well, we're talking Ted Scarpino. Thanks for joining us. Until next week, may the breath of the Holy Spirit aloha you. Aloha.
Thanks for listening to the Bear Woznick Adventure. Find more manly conversation at the Bear Woznick Deep Adventure YouTube channel. Subscribe and ring the bell.